Hello and welcome to the first episode of LG Radio. I'm your host, Lisandro Garcia, and welcome. So today what we're going to be talking about is pretty much in regard to beliefs, claims, but most of all having to do with the concept of conspiracy theories. Now, there have been a lot of conspiracy theories, especially involving the Las Vegas shooting. I'm going to be doing a coverage on that later on today, but before I get started, I want to explain the hiatus, my going missing and everything. So basically, what's been going on is that I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, a lot of personal things that have kind of gotten in the way and everything, kind of gotten in the way of various things. And after all this time, I have decided I'll pretty much come back. So what I'm going to be addressing first and foremost is there's this little issue that I had, and this I kind of like took it personally, not so much because of like what I feel in regard to it, but the complete sheer stupidity of it. Now, here's something that I want you to think about. And I'll cover the whole deal with conspiracy theories and all this other stuff later on. But kind of think about this. Suppose you have a sickness. Suppose you're sick and everything. Suppose you're really sick and ill, but you don't want to go to a doctor or anything. You don't want to go to the doctor at all. You don't want to pretty much treat yourself for whatever could be wrong with you and all. Now, it's understandable if you don't want to pay a huge amount out of your pocket, but even then, you at least have to consider your health. Health is the number one issue, because it makes no sense for you to be earning a whole bunch of money if in the end you're gonna have like critical illnesses, things like that. Okay, so let me ask you this. Suppose you're talking with someone, you're talking with them, and then you already know they have some illness or something like that. There's something wrong with them. You already know that there is something wrong with them and all. And the deal is that they don't want to go to the doctor. Now, imagine if they tell you that I don't believe in doctors and everything because all of them lie and blah, blah, blah. Consider something like that. In my honest opinion, that is the sheer most stupidest thing you can hear from a person, to say that doctors lie and everything and blah, blah, blah. Now, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists that saying that different things, different claims, anti-vaxxers and all that, but no, let's put that aside and let's listen to just, to just regular common sense. Now, if you're sick to a critical extent where you can't cure yourself or diagnose yourself in any way, then you're gonna go to a doctor to see what's wrong. If you're sick and you're just basing yourself on the claims that doctors lie, then that's surely fucking stupid. Why? Because for the reason that you could have something very serious and you're not getting it treated. It's like not wanting to take your kids to get vaccinations because of fear of autism. First of all, understand and learn what autism is. Understand what these diseases are and understand what it is that they're trying to do. And don't come up with that bullshit, that the anti-vaxxer bullshit. But enough of that. The deal is that they lie. First of all, you have to consider, if you claim that they are lying, you have to first find evidence, viable evidence that these doctors are lying, which is highly improbable for the majority part. Why? Because you yourself are only making a claim on the basis that they are lying. You have no viable evidence. And the thing is that in regard to conspiracy theorists, a lot of them come up with anecdotal type of evidence, which isn't really evidence. It's just like the testimonies, claims, circumstances, claims made by other people. Now think about this. That's more of a logical fallacy, a testimonial or anecdotal type of logical fallacy. It's pretty much basing your evidence on the claim of other people. What if the other people are wrong? Think about it. Going back to a certain day and age, people make a claim about topic A. They pass it down, these people accept that as the truth, or they pass it down to surrounding people. These people pass it down from generation to generation to generation. And this is how, like, traditions that have no viable credibility are born. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is that these are how traditions are born, traditions that are made based on the testimonies of other people. And a lot of the times, chances are that what is being claimed may or may not be true. That's the interesting thing about history, the things that are passed down from generation to generation. But enough of that. The deal is that you can't just say doctors lie without any viable evidence of any sort or any way. And also think about this. If you are a person who dropped out of high school, you didn't complete your education or anything, and all you've been doing is just jumping from job to job or anything like that, and you have no sense of any form of formalized education, any form or any way, or at least didn't bother to educate yourself at least decently, then in reality you have no say in the regards of doctors, medical doctors who actually bother to complete high school and actually bother to get a college degree and all. And that's what I say about that. Now, another thing that, and this is something that somebody said, I'm not gonna, for the sake of privacy and everything, I'm not gonna say who it is or anything and all, but then there's the whole claim of the deal, because this person's also has to deal with like digestion. This person has digestive problems and all. And one of the recommendations that was given to him was to cut down on pork, cut down on like heavy meat and things like that. Now, understand meat tastes good and everything, and of course I'm not gonna go vegetarian, or at least not permanently, but the deal is that he was advised that cut down on the pork meat and everything, and he was saying that, oh, if people have been eating pork meat, then why don't they get sick or anything? And here's another thing, the saying that cancer's a lie, all this is a lie, that they claim everything gives you cancer and everything. Now let me clarify something about that. The thing about that is that this is usually what happens when you don't bother to get a decent education. You don't know how to differentiate between claims, nonsensical claims, and viable evidence. This is what separates subjectivity from objectivity, and that's something he doesn't understand. Now the whole deal with like if other people did not get sick eating pork, then why should you worry? The thing is that different people handle different things differently. And in regard to the whole deal with cancer is that it increases your risk of getting cancer. It does not automatically mean that you'll get cancer right away. However, it does not mean that you can just be careless or anything, because in that sense you are fucking stupid. You are stupid for not taking care of yourself when you feel the first symptoms of anything. And the whole basis that doctors can't be trusted or anything, think about this, and I want you to think about this. If you slice your hand open, go ahead, and you're bleeding to death, go ahead and tell your doctor to fuck off. Let's see how you handle any of that. Let's see how you handle getting sick or severely sick, or if you handle getting cut, wounded, severely wounded, or anything. And then tell me how it goes in regard to doctors. Tell me how it goes in case of an emergency where you're severely ill. Tell me then if doctors lied in. And that's the thing. You don't and this is my take on this. You do not disrespect people's individual professions and all. And this is also something that I heard from a YouTuber that said that people who aren't that intelligent should at least defer to people of higher intelligence. In other words, if you don't know what you're talking about, if you're not smart enough to understand the topics or anything like that, then you should just stay out the way. Don't bother arguing in a topic you're not have any clear understanding of in the first place. No. Which leads me to the whole topic of like conspiracy theorists and everything else. You see, from my experience of talking with conspiracy theorists, a lot of them tend to make claims in regard to certain things. They make anecdotal evidence in regard to certain things, which means that they won't provide any viable evidence. They'll only provide claims of evidence of other people that believe similarly. And notice I focus on the concept of belief. And this is the thing about objectivity, is the claims that you make in regard to certain given things. They make these claims and everything, and then they tend to attack you and label you defamatory labels simply because you don't agree with them. And that's another logical fallacy. That's a disjunctive syllogism and all. Now, before I continue on and everything, I just want to say that I don't care. I'm gonna try to monetize this channel. I do not care if YouTube monetizes or not, because in the end, my main goal is to focus on other individuals to monetize my content. Other individuals to monetize it. So YouTube is not the primary focus here. It's another source. But anyway, getting back to the topic is, conspiracy theorists are an interesting bunch and all. And this is, I guess, the reason for this is that there are many people that don't educate themselves clearly. They educate themselves on etchy sources. They educate themselves on sources where they have questionable credibility. For example, let's say there's a kid that educates himself through people who post and claim what they believe and not what they found based on evidence. Then in that case, then that person's going to educate themselves based on that. And in the end, when it comes to objective concepts, they're not going to be well educated. They're going to be they're going to be mistaken most of the time and all, because the fact that they were educated on a questionable source. And this is the reason I take personally conspiracy theorists, because they're educating other people to go based on beliefs, go based on a code, whatever they believe in, and not based on what they know. And what they claim they know is based on the testimonies and not objective concepts and all. And I guess this is how this guy that I was telling you about, the one with in regard to the pork and everything else, then I guess this is how he educated himself, considering he didn't finish high school and everything. I don't know if he finished it or not, who knows. Who knows later on, but what I do know that he dropped out and all. And like I said, if you're not educated enough, don't bother. Now, there's another thing with conspiracy theories, and this is the whole deal with, like, there's quite a few people out there who focus on the concept of being anonymous, being completely anonymous from society entirely. And then, no, I'm not talking about the hacktivist group. I'm talking about people who choose to live anonymously. And I guess they get their inspiration from the hacktivist group. But think about this. Sometime back, before I got kicked off of the Minecraft server, Minecraft CC, there was an individual who was anonymous. This guy chose to live anonymous, no documentation, somehow had a cell phone that he managed to get anonymous and all. For the sake of privacy, I'm not going to mention who this person is and all, go figure, but the deal is that he focused on living anonymous, off the grid, off everything else. Now, let me tell you this. What kind of life do you think you could live anonymously? Because in reality, everything requires interaction, or at least some form of identification to know who you are and everything. Now, the deal is that if you choose to live anonymous, it means that you choose to cut yourself off from a lot of society. And one of the things I learned in U of H is that you cannot survive on your own. You cannot survive on your own merits, because you are interdependent of everyone else. You're interdependent of everyone else. And in reality, in my own opinion, it's kind of a selfish way of living, because in reality, civilization has not thrived on individualism, or solely on individualism. To some extent, you have dependent on someone or someone else. Because think about this. Every product you hold came from the hands of another individual. All you did is exchange a form of currency. Everything you can think about, from your light to your doors, to the materials in your houses, to the towels, to the clothes on your body, to your drinks and everything else. Everything came from someone else. And that's a lot of the things that a lot of these people don't realize. And the guy that I'm referring to, I respect him and all. That's fine and all. That's perfectly fine. However, I honestly find the way he's living completely nonsensical, because not only did he want to disconnect from all society, but also from the power grid and everything, which is, in reality, you can't live off many things that much based on your own individual system, unless you have some sort of generator and some connection or interaction with the rest of the world. And basically what he was telling me was that he wanted to not use AC power but DC power. Now, AC power is very important for the ability to do a lot of things. Without AC power, you cannot transport power that much. You can't do that much with it. AC power allows a lot of things, telecommunication. It allows for transformers, power transformers, and to step up or step down electrical voltage, current, etc. And it allows for a lot of things. It's very important in integrated circuits. But I tried to reason with him; he wouldn't listen and all. But who knows how he's living now? But honestly, this is kind of relative to a lot in, what do you call it, with a lot of these conspiracy theorists. But the point I'm trying to make is that in regard to conspiracy theorists, uneducated people, college or high school dropouts, is that there are a lot of people that are undereducated, illiterate. They're not only illiterate when it comes to like spelling, reading, that sort of thing, but they are also illiterate scientifically. They're illiterate in a lot of things and all. And the way technology is progressing, the way everything's progressing, life is only going to get harder for them. It's only going to get harder for them because they aren't educated sufficiently for them to survive out into the world, especially with this evolving advanced civilization. And it's evolving pretty good and all. Pretty well, pretty fast, I dare say, exponentially, I would say. And the reason I say this is because I was looking at Houston downtown the other day. I was looking at it, and in reality, a lot of the skyscrapers are starting to look a little bit more closer to what sci-fi movies from back in the yesteryears depicted a technologically advanced civilization. It's starting to look like that. We are becoming the future. We are becoming a really advanced civilization. The more we progress in everything, there are many things we can do that today that we could only dream of back then and all. And but anyway, getting back to the point, it's a shame that despite having a technologically advanced civilization, there are so many uneducated people. And the thing is that there's also a lot of like blue collars that I don't need an education, I don't need a damn college degree to speak my mind or anything. Maybe not a college degree, but you need to be educated to an extent in order to suggest something in regard to the rest of society. If the rest of society is technologically advanced, and you're a dumb, illiterate, scientifically illiterate dumbass who doesn't know better, who's completely ignorant, then in reality you have no fucking say in regard to anything regarding society. You stay at the bottom of the list. Now, at least in the sense of like the rest of the nation or the world, if all the rest of the people are equal to you within a certain community or society, that's something different. Then yeah, they're equal to you, so you do have a voice in that, and all. But anyway, I guess this is all that I'm gonna say in regard to like the illiteracy of people. Is that and it's hard to believe, because the thing is that we live in the age of reason, and the age of reason, there's more knowledge in today than there ever was in the entire history of the world. And here we are being completely nonsensical. There's a lot of stupid people out there. There's people who act dumb, ignorant, who are completely nonsensical in that sense, who don't make any logical sense. They behave, they react like that, and it's kind of hard to understand people like that and all. But anyway, this is all that I'm gonna say for now. You've been watching LG Radio, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.